One. Hello everyone, thanks for clicking on the video and, well, starting to watch it. So basically, I didn't have anything to do today. It's Sunday right now, and Thursday I arrived, and, well, I got home, to my new house, and I basically just unpacked everything, took a shower, and then we went out to see the entire town, my host sister's best friend, his exchange student, and me, obviously. So we all just went around the town, we got McDonald's. It was really fun, interesting. But then the next night, we went to a festival. Now this festival was really fun. It was probably one of the more fun things I've ever done in my life. It was like Coachella times 10 with like 5 stages of amazing music on each of them. Like, it wasn't like Coachella in the sense where it was an entire rave. I'm not calling Coachella a rave, but you get the idea. And so we did that again the second night, and we stayed out till about the same time, like around midnight. And now we use today as a day to rest and basically recoup for the week starts tomorrow. So my school doesn't start till Friday, which I'm kind of happy about. I still have a little bit of time to learn Hungarian, and it's fairly hard to learn since my mind thinks in Hindi, even though I never really spoken the language to anybody besides my parents, and that too a little bit. It speaks, and I speak in English, which doesn't kind of correlate. Well, it does correlate because I do come from the U.S., but still, I can think in Hindi, speak in English, and now I'm trying to learn Hungarian, and it's just really confusing. It's hard, but I'm getting there, and my English is getting kind of broken because I have to talk in somewhat broken English because I usually talk very fast, as you can probably tell right now. Talking fast is one of my defining traits, but otherwise. So I just wanted to touch on the fact, or the matter of why I chose to go on a foreign exchange trip. So really it all starts with the volunteer club I was a part of. It's called Interact. I still am a part of it. And basically in Interact, you do volunteer projects that the club chooses, and it's a teen version of a much bigger club called Rotary. And Rotary is a volunteer organization started way back in the day. They actually helped start the UN, which is really interesting, and that brings us to how I got into wanting to do foreign exchange. So I met a couple of foreign exchange students on our way to a Rotary UN Day, because the UN lets Rotary have a day at the UN where they have a conference for adults and they have a conference for teenagers, and basically they talk about their experiences in, the speakers talk about their experiences in lives, and some of them also talk about the various projects that they help work on or start. One of Rotary's main projects is helping to end polio. Basically, back in the 1990s, there were about a bunch of cases, about 60 to 70,000. No, it was 300. No, I don't even know. It was somewhere in the high thousands, hundreds of thousands. And there were that many cases of polio, and now today we only have about 30 in the entire world. So Rotary, with the help of money that they raise, volunteer work, sending people out to different countries to give these vaccines, they were able to reduce the amount of polio that was in the world, and our goal and our end goal is to eradicate polio. So that brings us back to how I got there. So basically, my host club, the Shenendaho Rotary Club, has people who go to the UN Day that Rotary hosts. The East Coast Rotary hosts it. So basically, we take a giant bus full of people, all from our district, District 7190. It covers about upstate New York all the way up to Queensbury, and all the way west to Oneonta, and then all the way south to, I think, Middleburg. So it's a pretty big district, so everybody got to cross gates, and that's like a general meeting area for all of us. And so we all got in the bus, and there were foreign exchange students who it was mandatory for them to go. So they were on the bus as well as I, and I was the president of my Interact Club, so I was just like, why not go? So I decided to go, and I sat in the back of the bus with all of the exchange students. Now, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning when we got on the bus, but I was just so tired, and they were tired, so we basically all slept till about like 6 ish, 7 ish. And then we kind of started talking since everybody started waking up, and I started talking to these foreign exchange students, like, what was it like? How do they like America? What's really interesting about the entire atmosphere here? How is their home country different from our country? And things like that. And the way they talked about their experience, it got me thinking, wow, this would be an amazing opportunity to have, like, do. And so I just brought up the idea, oh, I think I might want to do foreign exchange. And literally every single foreign exchange student there jumped on the idea, and they're like, okay, yeah, go to my country, go to my country. So basically, in the span of about an hour, by the time I arrived at Rotary UN Day, I was fully convinced that I wanted to do this. I think it's thundering outside, but whatever. Besides the point. So I, and this was about in November, so I was really like adamant on this, but I kept it in my mind. I didn't really think or talk about it to anybody else besides my Interact Club, and I brought it up as an idea, and they were supportive of it, but they weren't they weren't the support I would definitely need to do this. I needed to talk to my parents. Now, I'm not saying my parents are like strict. Well, they are fairly strict. They're very good parents. I love them. But I wasn't sure if they would even let me consider the fact of going to another country for an entire year. Let alone, like, it was just like a foreign idea to them, probably, and I had no concept of whether they would say yes or no. So I kind of brought it up at dinner, and I asked, is it possible for me to go on a foreign exchange trip? And they were like, okay. And they're like, how much does it cost? And so we basically figured it out. We talked about it, and surprisingly, the foreign exchange trip is fairly inexpensive compared to actually like living out an entire year by yourself. And my mom was kind of against it at first. She was like, okay, how about you just wait till college, and once you get to college, you can do a study abroad program. And my mom's a professor at Siena, so she literally knows everything about everything at college. Well, in my opinion, I think. Or in her, I don't even know. But she does know a lot about, like, college, like, studying abroad and things like that. So I was thoroughly considering just waiting and going to study abroad, but then I decided, you know what, why not just finish high school early and go? So that's what I really did. And by the time I signed up, it was about January, and I had only a limited amount of countries I could choose. And all the countries that I could choose were kind of off limits in a sense. I couldn't choose some of my like countries that I really wanted to go to because they were already filled with foreign exchange students that were already going to be going there, so that country would not accept more. And then there were countries where it was a language requirement which I could not complete, or there were countries where it just didn't really make sense and I didn't think it would be a fun year. So I ended up with 5 choices: Switzerland, Hungary, Germany, Spain, and Poland. Yeah, those 5. So out of those 5, I didn't get Switzerland because they have a strict language requirement, and it was their first year having foreign exchange students from the US, I think, or something of that sort. So they weren't going to be very lenient with their language requirement, and so now it went on to Hungary, and Hungary doesn't have a strict language requirement, which kind of doesn't make sense because Hungarian is literally one of the hardest languages I've ever seen. It has a completely different alphabet, and, well, not completely different, but, like, there's like 4 types of O's, and it's confusing. So otherwise, so yeah, I got Hungary in about February. That was the choice that was given to me, and I could choose it, or I could just not do the entire program and not do it. But I chose Hungary, and went with an open mind, and I basically just looked it up, searched it up. I never really looked into Hungary as an option. I was just like, ooh, that sounds interesting. But when I actually got the country as a choice, I was like, okay, now I actually have to think, what is Hungary? So I looked at Hungary, and it was a very interesting choice for me because it's very cultural here. And compared to other countries, more countries were more modernized and westernized. Not saying that Hungary's not modernized. It is modernized. But it's a lot different than you would think from another country like Switzerland, Germany, France, Spain, Italy. The list could go on. And I really like that idea because it's something that you don't really get to document. And as a photographer and trying to be a videographer, it's not something I would pass up an opportunity to document. So I was definitely like looking forward to this, and so basically the entire summer I basically just worked and everything, got all the money I would need. Well, my parents paid for part of the trip, I'm paying for the other part of it, and so basically I ended up in Hungary, and that's where I am now. And basically I can give a timeline of basically how my entire exchange year will go. So Friday I start school here, and I will take some subjects in English, some subjects in Hungarian. Pretty sure I'm taking physics and chemistry in Hungarian. And if anybody knows me, they know I am insanely bad at chemistry. So taking chemistry in Hungarian will be 10 times worse. But obviously I'm going to have to work hard and work for it. So I think I should be able to get like above 90s in these classes because I will have my host parents for help and my host sister, who are very, very nice. I like them a lot. They are they are kind of hard to understand sometimes, in just the sense that like we have a language barrier where I speak very fast English and they don't speak very fast English. And it's just that we have to kind of slow down. I have to slow down and think of how I'm going to explain something to them, and then they have to do the same thing and think of how they're going to explain something Hungarian in English so I can learn it as a thing to like have in my mind and to use in daily life here. And what I really do find interesting, and I'm just rambling on now, but I do really find interesting here is the entire culture here. I've noticed that there aren't as many, like, I wouldn't say rules, but like rules on the road. It's not as defined, and people go like really, really fast on the roads, and they're always overtaking each other, and it's really wild here. It's almost as wild as like India in a sense. And I've been to, and like the last time I was in India, it was like 12. I was like 12. So I don't really remember it that well, but I do remember the fact that the roads were kind of all over the place and everybody was just very fast trying to get to where they were trying to get to. And it was just really like confusing there. And it's about the same kind of level of confusion and scariness here. And I really find that interesting, and there's a lot of things that are so different from America, and I would never actually get to experience this had I not gone to this exact country. And I'm really happy that I did choose to go on exchange, and I did choose Hungary as a country. It seems like it's going to be a very fun year. I've already become friends with some of my host sister's friends. I'm already friends with my other exchange brother. I don't know. He's a Canadian. He's also on exchange here, and his host brother's best friends with my host sister. So we're kind of like exchange brothers. Yeah, exchange brothers. I'm going to keep that as a thing. So we're exchange brothers, and basically we are probably going to be doing a lot of things together. We become friends with some of the people that are friends with our host siblings, and also once school starts, I'll be able to talk to a lot of other people and see how I like the area around here and everything. I'm really sure I'll love it here, because I just met only like 4 or 5 people, and I'm already like really happy that I did, and they're all like super fun, and it's just, I think the atmosphere and like how welcoming everybody is, it's just really nice, and I'm really happy I took this opportunity. And if anybody is ever considering this and you're watching this, please go on exchange. I am sure it will change your perspective and your life. And it's only been like 4 days for me, and it's changed a lot about me in general. So I definitely think you'll love the idea and you'll love to do this. So if you ever are considering whether or not you should go study abroad or do foreign exchange or anything of that sort, please do consider that this will probably be one of the best times of your lives, and you should definitely do this. So thank you for watching, and like and subscribe. I hate saying that, but now I'm one of those YouTubers who say that. And I'll also have all my social media links in the description below. And I hope everybody has a great morning, day, night. I don't really know whenever you're watching this, because it's probably going to be released around like 7, 8-ish o'clock, where in the US, where most of my viewership is. So otherwise, have a great day. I'll just stick with that. So see you next time.